Okay, today we're going to investigate the requirements for a number to be even or odd, and what makes a number even or odd. So, as you can see, I've started with a number line here, and starting from 0, I can count through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and alternating, the numbers are even, odd, even, odd, even, odd, and so on. So, what's the difference between an even and odd number? Well, an even number is any number that can be divided by 2. So, in a counting pattern, any number that falls into the 2's pattern, like 2, 4, 6, 8 or 10, is what we call an even number. So, in that case, any number that ends with 0, 2, 4, 6 or 8 is classified as an even number. So what is an odd number? Well, alternatively, an odd number is any number that falls into the pattern skip counting but starting from 1. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13 and so on. So any number that ends with a 1, 3, 5, 7 or 9 is classified as an odd number. So for example, the number 24, it ends with a 4, and 4 is a part of our 2's pattern. So 24 is an even number. The number 39, the number ends with a 9 that falls into our 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 pattern. Because it ends with an odd number, 39 is also an odd number. Okay, so we know a little bit about odd and even numbers. Let's have a look at what happens when we add and subtract odd and even numbers. And something interesting is that when we add or subtract odd and even numbers, the result is always the same. So, for example, if we add an even and an even number, the answer is always an even number. For example, if I added 6 plus 8, the answer is 14. And because 14 ends with a 4, we know that it is an even number. So even plus even equals an even number. So what about an even and an odd? Whenever we add an even and an odd number, the answer is always going to be odd. For example, if the answer is 4 plus 5, 4 is even and 5 is odd, and the answer is 9, which is an odd number. The same again if I add an odd and an even, the answer will always be odd. It's the same but just turned around. So for example, 7 plus 2, which is an odd plus an even, the answer again is 9, which we know is an odd number. And finally, when we add an odd number with an odd number, oddly enough, the answer is always even. For example, 5 plus 7 is 12. 5 is odd, 7 is odd, but the answer 12 is even. And the same thing will happen when we use subtraction. We will get the same answers every time. So now let's have a look at what happens when we multiply numbers. Okay, when we multiply numbers, again, we always get the same results. If it is an even number multiplied by an even number, the result is always going to be even. For example, if I have 2 multiplied by 4, which is an even multiplied by even number, the answer is 8, which is also an even number. Also, if I multiply an even number by an odd number, again the result will always be even. Let's have a look. If I multiply 4, which is even, by 3, which is odd, the answer is 12, which is an even number. Similar, if I multiply an odd by an even number, the answer again will always be even. For example, 5 is odd, and 4 is an even number, and 5 multiplied by 4 is 20, which is also an even number. And finally, if I multiply an odd number by an odd number, here the answer will always be odd. For example, 3 multiplied by 5 is an odd number multiplied by an odd number, which will always result in an odd number, in this case 15.